Does does Black Lives Matter need your support? I see a lot of us going out saying, man, I'm not supporting Black Lives Matter. It's some homophobic agenda behind it. I ain't supporting. But I ask, are Black Lives Matter asking for your support? Because me personally, I haven't seen a Black Lives Matter campaign or commercial advertised or a number to call telling me or asking me for any of my donations. And I think one of our issues is we don't really understand what support is. We have a false notion on what is truly support. When you supporting something, that means you holding it up. Negro, they didn't need you for those protests. 3/4 of the protesters were whites and homophobics. And then, matter of fact, if you add the 3/4 were white, were non-blacks. If you add in homosexuals to that list, maybe 8/9 of the protesters were either gay or non-whites. They don't need your support. That's why they don't ask for it. Now they are asking for some. I'm not saying that there aren't no commercials that don't have, hey, support the movement, Black Lives Matter, Gay Lives Matter. That I'm not saying that there isn't a commercial like that. I'm just telling you that I haven't seen it and come across my screen. I haven't seen it come across any social media platforms, or what I'm saying. That's pretty much. I don't really watch TV, but I haven't seen it come across anything like that. Now, if you've seen it, I suggest you check what what kind of videos you watching, man, because you might be aligned to that agenda. That's also, you might be in the algorithm. That's what the YouTube, you might be in that algorithm, in that, in that line, to be conditioned to be out there wearing that rainbow, man. So you need to evaluate that, if that is the case. But I have not seen them campaigning for any money. They don't need your money. So listen, when you say support, like, what are you saying? That that you going out there, like, you didn't really show up. Oh, it's mostly their people that showed up. I don't even know if you knew what time that those protesters. I don't even know if the protesters, you could even have the protests without these Black Lives Matter movement. I don't know if you could have had the riots. And the riots were necessary. They were necessary. And so when we talk about, man, we supporting something means you're holding this thing up. Meaning, if you stop your support, then it's gonna collapse. But we know that's not the case. And then we question the funding, but you're not funding it. And that brings my next point. You should be funding your Messiah. Any group that you think can lead you right to liberation, you should be funding that group. So if you're not funding Black Lives Matter, which I know you aren't, I'm not. I wouldn't even know how if I wanted to. But I'm definitely not. And a lot of people I know that say stuff like, man, I had to stop supporting Black. You were never supporting it. You might have agreed with it at an extent. You might have agreed with it during a certain time period where when it was first starting out, you might have threw your fists up with it. But you wasn't supporting it. It didn't need you. You wasn't holding it up. You just jumped on it because it was trending. You don't know how organizations work. And that's our issue. That's why we nowhere near ready to start no liberation, to start no revolution. That's why we can't detach from our oppressor, because we still feeding off of them. We parasites. We parasites to oppression. We just have to feed off of it, man. We won't detach ourselves. Not to get off subject, you got to fund your Messiah, man. You got to fund your Messiah. And I'm not speaking a biblical context on that Messiah thing, but you know, any black Messiah, anybody that's gonna stand up and try to lead us to liberation, they need to be funded. It's necessary that they have proper funding. Even with the voting, you can't be trying to vote and you're not funding the people that's going in office. There ain't no need of voting for nobody in no office if you haven't funded them from the beginning of their campaign. Their whole campaign got to be funded by the people that they supposed to help. That's how it works. So yeah, I need your vote, but I gotta take care of the people that took care of me. I couldn't even get to the point of you voting for me without these people helping me. And a lot of times those people are non-blacks. That's why them folks get in office and forget about you. You think your vote matter? It don't. It don't matter if there's no funding behind it. It's just word. It's just a ballot without no fund. That means they have no obligations to you. It means they have no obligations. And then you have no obligations to want. You ain't really mad about them not doing what you needed them to do for your community because you didn't invest anything into it. You didn't invest anything into that person. Now, had the community say had the Negro community invested $100 million in this particular political officer. Say we pooled our money up, we done raised up $100 million to get this particular person in office. He gets in office and doesn't do what he wanted. We gonna see about him. We gonna see about that. We gonna see about that because we had an investment in that. We not just gonna let you, hey man, he ain't do nothing for us. We ain't gonna have them talks. We gonna see about you about our $100 million, man. We gonna need that back with some interest on it. So understand again what it means to actually support something. Because really you aren't supporting anything and these folks ain't really asking for your support anyway. I'm gonna hit you with one more point. And it's gonna be real controversial. I know a lot of what I'm saying is controversial already, but you gotta recondition your thinking. If you thinking like most of these Negroes out here, then you funneled in the same system. Joker's still talking about 5G, man. Like, come on, man. Start repositioning yourself, man. Start repositioning yourself, cause this thing finna get ugly. It's finna get ugly, man. Y'all out here playing and kicking the bobo. It's about to get ugly. Let me hit you with this last point. You need those gay people. Your liberation won't happen without them gay people, man. Now, I'm speaking outside of the biblical narrative. I don't follow any of that. I'm waiting on Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And until then, I'm getting ghosts. My plan is to get ghosts. Alright? And be as self-reliant as I can possibly be. That's my goal. But if you don't have the biblical context, I know most of us do, watching, but if you don't have the biblical context and you're just waiting to be liberated and you say, okay, man, we can do this ourselves, let's do this thing, you need gay people. Because gay blacks are the only ones that's going to get the funding. Why? Because, and then on top of that, Negroes ain't going to fund you. They're not going to fund you. They already don't have the money, and then the people that they have funded have let them down. They have let them down. So, and you have a lot of, jokers they want to talk about now, like a Boyce Watkins, Umar Johnson, Brother Polite, and who are these? What did they do? Are they gonna risk their life for you? And see, that's what you're funding. You're paying for somebody to die for you. To go out here and die in order for it. You can at least pay the man who's gonna go out here and die, you know what I'm saying, to liberate his people, man.
Out of my pocket! Get out of my pocket, nigga! Get your hands off my
please, hold. Calm down, please, brother.
We have information that King has been shot at the Lorraine. Big T and he has been shot.
You can leave, pay him. So you need those gay people, man. If those gay people aren't there, then you don't get the funding. Then you really see a different angle with the police. Like them rubber bullets would have been let off, but they knew majority of the crowd was non-whites. I mean non-blacks and homosexuals. And homosexuals have a lot more power. Homosexuals are becoming their own nation. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing a homosexual nation rising within a nation. We've been talking that nation within a nation. Nation of Islam been talking that crazy. Nation within and it's not crazy. It's just we don't want to put the work in to do it. And that'll be one of my next videos. It's not a crazy, but that's what you're finna see with this, with the LGBTQIA. They're about to build a nation within a nation, or they're gonna turn the whole nation into homosexuals and transgenders. They are having to adjust. They are making adjustments to this movement, man. I seen Calvin Klein just put a transsexual, transgender on the cover. They having to make certain adjustments. They having to make certain compromises. They having to, you know what I'm saying, pull certain strings and fund these people. And these people have most of the funding. They gonna get the funding. Even the civil rights movement had got the funding through Bernard Rustin, who was a homosexual, man, pedophile, man. And so for your liberation to even get as far as it's got, for Black Lives Matter to be on the stage that it's on, is only because it's funded by homosexuals. That's it. It'd be hard to get a dollar out of Negro, man. So I just want to say that and leave you with this, man. What are you funding? If you don't support the Black Lives Matter, right? You're not funding that. What are you funding? Nike, Hennessy, you know what I'm saying? You know, cars, you know what I'm saying? Lexus. What are you funding? What are your funds going to? What are you funding if you're not funding that? You're not supporting that. Then what are you supporting? And just saying you supporting something ain't supporting. If jokers don't even, if you saying you supporting, like say if you say, I mean, I'm supporting that camp, and jokers don't even know who you are, don't miss you, don't, you know what I'm saying, then you ain't supporting them. How you supporting them? What you just cheering them? You know, how are you like you support something that means you're holding it up. You're holding it up. There are certain things that particular group is it wants you to do, needs you to do, looks for you, depends on you to do. Who depends on you? Who are you funding? Shalom.